Hey, Daily Dosers, Chris here. Happy Monday to you. Don't you love some of the great narratives of the Bible? The Old Testament kings and queens, or prophet and priest stories, the Old Testament battle stories, or the New Testament, the life and teachings of Jesus, the miracles he did, the book of Acts, how Christianity spread in the first century. If you love biblical stories, the great narratives, you may hate this week, but don't turn it off. Don't turn it off. We're going to take a deep dive in the book of Proverbs. And I know 25 years ago, I would have rolled my eyes and said, done, I'm turning the channel. It's a bunch of pithy wisdom statements, all these little philosophical quotes that are just kind of thrown into a shoebox, shaken up and dumped out on the pages. One verse doesn't even go with the next verse. But here's what we're going to do this week. We're going to show you the beauty of the wisdom in this book. It's not about knowing it. It's not about where to find it. It's about how to apply it in your life. At the beginning of the book of Proverbs, because there's no narrative, I will just write like wisdom. I would write decision making, marriage, how to have a happy life, how to deal with wealth, how to deal with gossip, how to deal with lying, how to deal with your tongue. And I will start stringing all these verses together so I have a little golden thread to follow. One of my favorites is on decision making. How do you make wise decisions? In Proverbs 12:15, it says this: "The way of a fool seems right to him, but a wise man listens to advice." Story of my life. I'm like, whoa, I'm in the Bible. The way of a fool seems right to him. A fool isn't someone of low IQ or they're stupid. No, it's someone that does what they think is right. That's the way of a fool, when they're not listening to wise counsel. But see, that verse doesn't stand alone. Right next to it then, I have 15 on there. And I turned to chapter 15:22. And in 15:22 it said, "Plans will fail for a lack of counsel, but with many advisors they can succeed." Oh, now just the way of a fool lacks counsel, but let me tell you about your plans. You know why your plans don't succeed? Where are all your gray hairs? And you go, well, I got some gray hair coming in. No, 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 not your gray hair. Where are all of your gray hairs? Where are the men and women that have done this for over 20 years that are lining up saying, that's a good idea, that's a good idea, that's a good idea, that's a good idea? When Amy and I wanted advice on parenting, we didn't ask people with young kids. We asked people with adult kids who had their own kids that were doing good and go, wow, how did you get 2 generations out of this? When Amy and I wanted advice on marriage, we didn't ask someone who'd been married for 10 years. We went to people that had been married for 25 years and go, why do you like each other? We're 7 months in and we don't like each other. The Bible says, look, you have a way that you think is right. You're making your own decisions. You have your own plans. Let me tell you, between wisdom and foolish planning, it has a bunch of counselors. It has a bunch of gray hairs, not yours, but people lining up saying, good advice, good advice, good advice. And then I wrote 19:2-3. I don't know what that is either. Proverbs is all jumbled up wisdom, but I turned to 19:2-3. And on chapter 19:2-3, it says this: "It is not good to have zeal without knowledge, nor be hasty and miss the way." You can have all the zeal, you can have all the passion, you can have all the motivation in the world, and you have the wrong facts, you're totally going to miss the mark. You see, a man's own folly ruins his life, and yet his heart will rage against the Lord. Your own folly, your own desires ruined your life. And then you're going to turn around and go, God, why'd you do this? God, why aren't you here? And then it has verse 20-21. "So listen to advice and accept instruction. In the end, you will be wise. Many are the plans in a person's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails." All I have to do is turn to Proverbs, wise decision making. It gives me one verse, and that verse will lead me to the next, and the next, and the next, and the next. Chris, you can have all the passion, all the desire, all the zeal, all the motivation in the world, all the right motives. Where's the wisdom of counselors in your life? If you don't have that, you're a train wreck. Church, when it comes to redoing our structure around here, as we did in the last several years, when it comes to our planning, I still meet with a group of pastors every 5 weeks, and I got about 9 I talk to on a regular basis. I'm constantly bouncing ideas off of. Been in ministry for 3 years, almost 34 years now, and I have learned every plan that failed is because you thought you had a good one. You thought you had a right one. Get wisdom in your life. That's not, you got to be smarter. You got to have a bigger IQ. I'm not. Get smart people in your life to speak into your life. You're going to be track on wisdom, not folly. You're going to have plans that succeed, not fail. It's not my advice. It's Proverbs. This should be a fun week.